Well, well. Good evening, chat. Venalis has received poop permission. He's here on time. I saw it, marked him down as here on time, and now he's got pooping permission. Chat, how you doing? Now, let's just do this. I think this is kind of spooky music, but that's okay. Yeah, it's very spooky music. That's okay. Chat, how you doing? How's your Friday going? Our lovely mod, Atemazuko, has given us a brand new pet pictures video. I loved that video. That was fantastic. That was such a good video. Thank you so much, Atem. That was absolutely lovely. What a wonderful way to decompress before Mar. I loved that. That was a cute one. Lots of babies. I know. It was wonderful, Atom. Thank you. Hey, Pocket Gnome. Thank you for the gifted sub to Noonchi. Man, thank you. Yes. And as Atom is saying now, more pictures. Chat, if you have pets and you have pictures of those pets and you want them in those videos, join them on Discord. Throw them in the pet pictures. As many as you have. We love them. We love seeing the pets. So please join them. Throw them in there. Well, Tech ruined pet pic time. It's D&D time, okay? There's just also a little bit of pet pictures in there. Wow, Jay Dilla. My goodness, thank you for the 31 months. Time is a mystery. Dude, Jay Dilla, me looking at 31 months? I fucking agree. Time is a mystery. Time is a fucking mystery indeed. 31 months? Jeez. Thank you, man. Thank you. Chat, let's turn on our mic and stuff. And let's get going with the Dungeons and the Dragons. Oh, well, hello there.
Well.
Hello.
Ahoy.
How's everyone doing?
Oh, fucking living the dream, man.
Awesome.
Fucked up pepperoni jalapeno pizza.
God.
Good time.
What?
Fucking jalapeno. The first time you said jalapeno, I just never recovered from that.
I can't help the fact that I'm such an accomplished linguist, okay?
Your lexicon is huge.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just have an obfuscating vernacular of many different languages. Jalapeno.
I was trying that Inscription game today.
Oh, how was it?
Fucking fantastic.
Really?
Holy shit, that game is good, man.
Interesting. Okay, well, that's good to know.
It's definitely a little on, like, it can be a little on the tough side for a card game, you know, like
Sure.
Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering and stuff. It can be a little bit tough sometimes, but it's kind of, it's that's on purpose, and it's for a goal, and it's a good thing. And wow, it was such a spectacular game. Highly recommend trying it, even if you're not a really big fan of those kinds of card games.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to consider giving that a check out.
Yeah, it's very spoopy too. If ever you're looking for another spoopy one to put in the back pocket, just load that one onto the list of spoopy games, man. But in the game, I had a coyote card, and I definitely just deliberately called it a coyote card to upset chat all day.
Coyote.
Yep.
Use coyote in a sentence.
I went and saw a real big coyote outside.
Coyote.
Done and done.
Ew. Hate that. Hate everything about that.
So
Yucko,
chat was not a big fan of that. But yeah, definitely recommend that game.
Interesting. Okay, that's taken into serious consideration.
Yeah. Also,
Are you gonna say?
Is that?
Are you gonna say what we did the other day?
What?
No.
Oh, I was
What?
just gonna
What?
say it's not anything. We went to the
What?
movies for the first time since the pandemic.
Wow.
What did you see?
Yes.
We saw Dune, no spoilers.
Damn it! See, for fuck's sake, I was so excited because Aaron and I literally got a subscription to Crave. which
Okay,
is
yeah.
Canada's version of it.
Oh.
Nope, not available.
Oh,
yeah, it's
really?
only on
Yep.
HBO Max.
Yep.
Which Canada doesn't get. Dude,
Yep.
I need to
How
tell
was
you,
it? Mhm.
this is a movie that you
Yep.
have to see in the theaters.
Really?
Like to see it on a small screen would ruin the movie.
If it's
Really?
safe in your area,
Yeah.
definitely.
If
would
it's safe in your
recommend,
area, absolutely,
I'll
100%.
take her next weekend.
Yeah, dude. Like, and I
Wow.
want to go again. So, like, when you guys go,
Yeah.
let us know, and we can all make a big
Oh.
movie night because, like,
Wow.
I want to see it immediately. It was.
Holy shit.
Wow.
I think it is the best movie I've ever seen. Might not be my most
What?
favorite.
Wow.
Like I'm just
Wow.
mean like in its craftsmanship and its perfection. I believe
Yeah.
it is the best movie I've ever seen.
Really?
My favorite, I don't know. Right now, I think so because I just saw it and I loved it. But what is absolutely undeniable in my mind, it is the best movie I have ever
Wow.
seen. The acting,
Wow.
the sound design, the sound score, the visuals, the story are all
Wow.
the absolute best. They are perfectly crafted with basically no flaws as far as I can tell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Holy
We
fucking
were-
shit. Okay.
We were like ideal. We were primed. We were ideal audiences, kind of thing. We were
Sure.
dying for a movie and very ready to have a good time watching a movie and be dazzled.
Yeah.
But even still, I think it would hold up, even if you weren't so jazzed as we were.
Yeah.
So I have to know what movie previously held that title, so I kind of know where the bar is for you.
Good question.
Excellent question. Best movie that I'd seen previous to that, probably The Godfather.
Oh my gosh!
wow, really?
Yeah.
I
Interesting.
thought you were gonna say
Wow.
some Daniel Day-Lewis vehicle.
You know what I would honestly say?
Hmm.
That I think is perfectly done from soundscape to acting to story to lighting to execution.
Yeah.
Parasite.
Oh,
Okay,
I
yeah,
love it.
Parasite
Oh,
was
yeah.
also yeah. Parasite,
Definitely.
yeah, Parasite was like a perfect execution of a vision,
Yes,
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would say that same level of perfection is in Dune, and
Wow.
it's a different venue for it, kind of thing.
Sure.
But yeah, like
absolutely.
The Godfather is a perfection of a vision kind of thing, right?
Sure.
And this to me was even somehow reached a little bit higher.
Wow.
It was just like absolutely completely surreal, and I plan to watch it 1,000 times over my lifetime. It was, yeah.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
I smell a
this
new
is
tradition.
exciting.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah,
That's
some,
very exciting.
It is, and like really, you do have to watch. I'm a little bit sad that at some point I'll have to watch it on the small screen. Like it won't be in theaters anymore, and I'm gonna have to watch it on my
Yeah.
TV, and it'll be good, but
It won't be great.
It won't be great. It won't be
Very
like I saw
interesting.
at the theater, and it was
Very interesting.
wow. Do
Wow,
not see it in
dude.
3D. Don't see
Now-
it in 3D. Would ruin it completely.
Oh, that's true. That is
Yeah.
true.
Do not
But
see
now
it
we
in
gotta
3D.
cancel. We gotta cancel Mar, man. I gotta go back to the theater.
I know. Yeah,
We
we're
gotta watch it
canceling
right
Mar.
this second.
We're all gonna go
All right,
watch
you
a
heard her.
midnight showing.
Oh, there he goes.
Wow,
Oh,
man.
dang! I spoke too soon.
That's amazing. I love that.
So
Okay.
highly recommend.
That's fucking amazing.
yeah.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, absolutely fucking spectacular. I was actually going to talk a little bit about this is, I don't know why this is not the venue for a personal revelation, but I came to it just a little while ago, and I don't know why I want to talk about it, but I want to talk about it.
Yeah, do it.
I have realized that I have a consistency problem when it comes to executing a task.
Okay.
When I go to make music, for example,
Mm-hmm.
I cannot consistently make something that I enjoy.
Okay.
And sometimes, with almost no effort, I can make a song that I don't know where it came from. It's so amazing. And other times, no matter how hard I try, I can't make anything. And now
Sure.
that's pretty standard for people, right? When they go to make music, sometimes you just can't get the jams flowing. Sometimes you can.
Sure.
But this is like when I used to play tennis, it was the same way. Some days I'd be able to beat the best players, and some days even the worst players would be able to beat me. I noticed it when I did PvP in World of Warcraft and stuff. Like some days I'm literally better than everybody else,
Yep.
And some days I literally can't even get it started.
Sure.
And I'm realizing this kind of thread for me, where in most things that I do in life, I swing pretty hard between like genuine greatness and an abject failure. And for me, it's really tough because I strive for consistency so much in my life that this unreliability in myself is something that's kind of hard for me to accept, because I feel like I should be able to dissect the properties of what I do when I do something well and replicate it.
Sure.
But I literally can't. Even when I replicate the things that made me successful, I can't do it again.
Personally? Oh,
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, accepting this, I think, is going to be very powerful for me, man.
Yeah, dude. Yes.
Like,
that's stupid. You should never give into that shit.
You should be on the 24/7 grind, and if you're not, then what
Oh my God.
But that's incredibly. I'm gonna cut you off. Fuck you, Lastiel.
Mother. All right, you want to throw down? Okay, let's do this.
Oh shit.
So it's actually, I forget exactly where it was, but I came across a random YouTube video years and years and years ago, and it's actually talking about this exact phenomenon that you're talking about. How sometimes you can just be, you're in the flow and you're out of the flow, you're in the zone, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it turns out there's actually, I forget exactly how it's worded or whatever, but essentially there is a state of the human mind that elevates, and it's actually known as, he's in the zone. Like
that's Wu Wei that's Wu Wei in the philosophy of Taoism. Wu Wei is the flow state, and that's what you get into when you're really focused on whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Yep. And the idea is that you get there by being like clear of mind and like free of stress and not thinking about yesterday or tomorrow or this stressful thing or that stressful thing, when you're just focusing. The example that a lot of people use are rock climbers, because when you're rock climbing, you cannot afford to be worried about, did I send that fax? Have I checked this email? You're focused on, holy fuck, what rock can I hold on to so I don't die? And so they're often seen as people that can really easily get into Wu Wei, which is the flow state, because they're focused so much on exactly what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So I've definitely had that. Like I play games, I'll play PvP things, and it's just like, oh God, I'm having an off day. And then other days I'm untouchable. I'm a fucking god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Lastiel.
I was just gonna say, like, the thing that I've personally kind of done to kind of get into that mode. Like I think the problem, and this is just from, I'm talking from personal experience.
Totally.
So,
yeah.
Your mileage may vary.
Totally.
But I feel that because, you're so used to procedure, protocol as a scientist, and just kind of like in your life, like you said, you've kind of dissected and trying to replicate.
Yeah.
And not being able to replicate. I think it's a little like the issue, I think, may be that the thinking is a little too clinical.
Yeah.
And maybe if you can, I guess what I'm trying to say here is don't try, just get lost in it. Let the flow happen, because as a creative, typically, you go in with an objective. I'm going to make music, but maybe if you can't not think about it, like if you cannot let go, give yourself a limitation. Like, I can only use this synth, or I can only use 2 synths, or I can only use a piano synth, or I have to have a melody and a bass line. That's it. Like, if you can give yourself a limitation, or just go in and essentially sketch, just play around with it, you might be able to consistently get into that kind of mindset without realizing it. And the worst thing that happens is that you make something that you don't like, and you throw it out and you do it again. Best thing that can happen, you actually make something that you enjoy, and you might tinker more in it. So I guess, from my personal point of view, from making music and just that type of thing, just don't think about it. Just have fun. Just have fun with it. If something sounds cool, go with it and see where it goes.
Yeah. I think my problem comes largely from the disappointment of failing when I know I have it in me not to. That is a tough pill to swallow. When I know I have the capacity, I've seen it multiple times, to not fail, then failing feels like I did something wrong, right? Like I know it doesn't have to be that way. I've done this before. Why can't I do it again now? And that's that. I think I'm learning how to be okay with sometimes just failing at something that I've excelled at many times before, and not considering that as a failure on my. That's not a failure of me. That's just the way it goes.
Well, and I like this expression because I think this is totally related. A lot of people agree that creativity, a few of the things that that still bamboozle, like even the most learned neuroscientists and quantum physicists, are moments of creativity and moments of genius. They don't have a good explanation for them because the average human brain is so similar. They have no way to explain things like Beethoven, Shakespeare, Picasso. They have no way to explain it. But what they can say is that many of these incredible works, and when you talk to creative people, many of their most favorite or most inspired works come from a particular state of mind. Like it's when they're just really in the groove. And the thing is, you can't really control that. That's the thing that is difficult, is when you say, you know, this is the thing that I know that I'm good at, and now I'm not doing it, and it feels like a failure. You can't control your mind in the sense that, just to wrap up this thought in a bow, the way that I always like to describe it is that when people say something like my heart beats, that's what they say. They say my heart beats, but they don't say my mind thinks. They say, I think. Well, that's not necessarily true. That thinking happens to you the same way that your heartbeat does. You're almost always thinking. You're very rarely in complete control of what you're thinking about. It just sort of drifts from thing to thing. So in the same way, these moments of creativity are kind of at the whim of your mind, which is constantly going. And whether or not it's in an area that's going to be conducive to creativity isn't super under your control. If you're stressed,
that's fair.
If you're having a shitty time, you can't exert 100% total conscious control of your mind for the entirety of the creative process, at least not right off the hop. So it's not necessarily about a failure on your part as much as it is being at the mercy of the monkey mind, which, you know, loves to find things to feel shitty about and sap your creativity.
And part of that, and I feel like experience.
Totally.
Making a space, or making it clear in your mind. It says, you said you were beginning to accept it, you know, essentially make a space either in your mind or physically, like in your studio. It's okay to fail, you know, like if that's like, because right now, like in the back of your head, it's like, I know I can do this. Well, what if you know, in the back of the head, instead it was, it's okay if I fuck this up. You might be a little more unbound, I guess.
Yeah, I think, and to put a finer point on this too is like like literally D&D is an overwhelmingly creative process for me, right? To build a session in a way that is entertaining and engaging and immersive, and all this requires so many different aspects of creativity, and I worry so much all the time about whether or not what I have done is going to be fun, and then afterwards I worry so much about whether it was any good, and I try so hard to ensure a consistent level of goodness in the D&D sessions, right? And to fail in something like that is to fail you guys in you having a not fun session, to fail myself in not enjoying doing it, to fail anyone who's listening who didn't like that session. And so to fail creatively when it comes to a D&D session is
quite an overwhelming thing.
Yeah. Quite overwhelming. You know? It's very high stakes, which is often the antithesis to being creative, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, over a prolonged period of time, it can be very daunting. The concept or potential for a total failure of a session. No, a total failure of a session would actually be quite interesting for nothing to ever be interesting from start to finish and no one to enjoy any aspect. That would actually be quite something. But even the little failures, if it's like, you know, if I build an encounter where it's boring or it's not fun because it's too hard or something like that, even that can feel very bad. Like that feels like a failure. And I think I guess I apologize to you and to everyone listening. I'm going to try to be okay when there's a fluctuation in the goodness and badness of D&D sessions. And I apologize when we have ones that maybe aren't as fun or aren't as engaging. But also I'm just going to try to accept the fact that with the human condition, or possibly my you know, persuasion towards a little bit more inconsistency in the creative process, that some sessions are going to be like life-changing, and some sessions you're just going to be watching the clock to see when it ends. And I apologize for the ones where you're watching the clock, but I hope that, you know, that I can be kind to myself, and that everybody else can be kind to me and themselves as well, because apparently that's just what happens. And I'm just now at the age of 30, whatever I am. I have no idea how old I am. 35, I think.
Yeah, no, 36.
30. Am I?
No,
30?
no, 35. No,
Okay,
no.
35.
No, yeah, you are 36 because I'm 33. No, I'm turning 33. Holy shit. Yes, I'm turning 33. So you're 35, turning 36.
Okay,
oh
yeah.
my God.
Okay, so I'm 35. Me at the age of 35, I'm just now starting the process of learning how to deal with failure in aspects of life. Now, and I mean that in where I know I can excel. Failure in areas where I know I can excel.
The way you worded that last sentence would like that infuriated me. Okay, you're like, I'm turning 35 and I'm just now knowing what failure feels. Go fuck off.
No. I know, and that's the thing.
I grew up with my mom calling me a failure regularly.
No, and then I know how to fail. I can fail, but failing at something that I can excel at and being unable to prove that I can excel at it. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I can make good music. And someone's like, okay, well, make a good song. And then I can't for an extended period of time. That's tough, right? That's a tough pill to swallow. When I'm like, look at these 5 songs I've made, or look at these 5 great D&D sessions that I wrote. They're amazing. Everyone agrees these are amazing sessions of D&D. And someone's like, okay, write a great one right now. And I can't. I write 20 shitty sessions in a row because I'm unable to replicate it. And it feels like I've lost it and that I can never do it again, but that's not true. It's just the ebb and flow of that creativity kind of thing.
Well, and I just want to say, I don't want to interrupt you or anything, but I'm saying this, and this doesn't necessarily need to be everybody else's opinion, but this is totally genuinely from the bottom of my heart, the genuine absolute truth, not even as your brother and not even as, you know, someone who doesn't want to knock your campaign or anything like that, but my genuine actual personal opinion, I would say that your campaign has been the most unbelievably consistent I've ever been in terms of enjoyability of session. Yeah. I enjoy every single session. So I totally understand how you would just imagine that there's going to be some that are more enjoyable than others. Yeah. And some are great and some are so or whatever. That's absolutely not how I feel about it at all. I have found there to be an unbelievable consistency to episodes. So it's not like if you had a scale from 0 to 100 that some are 100 and some are 56. It's like some are 100 and some are 97. So there's a 3% difference between basically perfect and absolutely perfect, and I'm only saying that because I feel like I'd be considered unrealistic to say that all are 100% perfect. That's the only reason I'm saying.
Totally, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
There, but just so you know, from the player's perspective, I know that your mind is going to do whatever it's going to do to itself in terms of like convincing you to worry about that. But from a player's perspective, your campaign has been, and I've been in a few now. Yours has been the most unbelievably consistent in terms of enjoyability of every single episode. Every single one has felt like I'm learning something. Every single one has felt like we're doing something new and cool and meeting new and cool characters. So just from a player's perspective, unbelievably consistent for how many episodes now?
121.
121 fucking episodes,
That's
man.
kind of what I wanted to point out.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, we're still here after how many years?
Yeah, that's
Two?
fair. Yeah.
Genuinely,
Well, I
man.
mean, like,
I'm being
you
totally
guys gave me
serious.
like a couple months, but anyway, like,
But yeah.
it's but like,
Yep.
just I will shout it from the rooftops, dude. Like,
Yep.
we're 121 episodes in, like, your players are here,
Yeah.
waiting
Loving
for
it.
the next chapter.
Loving it.
And people, and we friggin' love it. Like, we are, I know I said this to Vanguard, I'm actually upset that this is going to end soon.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. I know,
really
right?
upset.
Yep.
I love the characters. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
and but
Yeah.
cut yourself some slack.
Yeah.
You know?
I think, yeah, exactly. And I think what I'm doing right now is, I think honestly, part of it is the nerves about it coming to an end. And so
Sure.
I'm like setting up this giant safety net in case I completely fuck up the ending of the campaign. I want you to know,
Game of Thrones. Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
scary.
I know that I have on my greatest days the capacity to end this campaign in the most satisfying way possible. I have got the end of the campaign, all of the moving parts ready. And I know how to do it in a way that is magnificent and satisfying. But I worry with this inconsistency that I'm starting to recognize in myself, that I'm going to hit a bad stretch right when it matters the most. And that would be something that would be very hard to forgive myself for. And so I think I'm just like, I apologize if I fuck up the ending of this campaign. I don't think I'm going to.
I don't think you will either.
I don't think I'm
I
going
mean-
to. I have been planning and prepping for the end of this campaign for literally years, changing it and adapting it as the story changes and adapts. But I'm just putting that safety net out that I apologize in case somehow I do trip it up and flub it up. I'm gonna try not to beat myself up too much about it, because sometimes creativity and execution and consistency just doesn't happen.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Listen,
No worries whatsoever.
Listen, whilst all these guys are gonna, blow smoke up your asshole, all right? Listen, I'm gonna tell you,
Yeah.
there has only ever been one episode ever in this entire thing where I just could not keep my focus. Do you know what episode that was?
No.
That was the one when I got way too high and I just couldn't focus on shit.
I remember that.
But Flynn was like, "Here, take this, sweetie. It's fine. Oh, don't eat the whole thing. What are you doing, babe? Oh." And I was like, "Oh shit, this is gonna be a bad episode." And then Milton decided to do the thing where he kept telling you to shut the fuck up in Bill Ding's voice, and I just lost my goddamn shit.
Oh my god. Okay.
As a side note, Tech, Wayward says, "Tell your brother from me, he's easily one of the top DMs I've ever seen. I've been playing D&D for about 20 years. The care he puts into every little detail is beyond amazing, and you can see it in how well everyone receives it so well. Like, I'd kill to even get a chance to play a side character in one of his stories. My half-sick ass is currently sitting in chat."
That's so nice.
Oh man, thank you guys so much. Thank you. Thank
absolutely.
you. And
But no worries, dude.
yeah.
Don't stress it at all. I'm
Yeah.
sure we're together. We're going to craft something fucking awesome. We're going to wrap
yeah.
this up in a way that you're going to find totally satisfying.
I think so, man. I've got the plans have been in motion since almost session 1.
Yep.
Like, I have had the ending in mind, constructed to as much as it can all the way along. So it's not going to be a thrown together ending of whatever the hell happens. I have been carefully crafting this story and allowing the way you change the world and you change the story to change the ending. And so I think it's going to be great, but just so that we all understand, and I'm talking to myself more than anyone else, that as a human who has ups and downs, that, there may be a downswing. So,
It's tough being a human. Yeah.
It is,
yeah,
man.
what the hell, man?
We're currently trying to pilot a fucking meatball that's powered by electricity trapped inside
Exactly.
a fucking bone cage. Like, you know, we're not exactly dealing with high-end robotics here. We're dealing with a ball of fucking hamburger meat.
Yeah,
So we
exactly.
can only do so much.
Okay, awesome. Well, I don't know why I felt that now was the appropriate time to discuss that revelation, but you know what? That's the kind of night it is.
There you go, man.
So, I think it's now time to dive in. So, I will start by welcoming folks to our tabletop RPG stream called Monsters Ain't Real, where we use the Dungeon World rule set to enjoy some good old-fashioned RPG fun set in an industrial horror universe. To anyone new, all the old episodes are up on YouTube and Spotify, but that doesn't mean that you can't just hang out and enjoy the session. First things first, we'll start with a little recap. Last time, you guys had just finished your ascension with Volos, and you had a couple questions for him, and at the end of it, he left you with a hint to investigate the financial district for dissidents and people who may seek to undermine the council's rule. You, upon leaving the building and explicitly searching for this type of person, you found someone named Six, who was scouting potential new ascendants to give them business opportunities at the cost of a cut of all future profits. Six informed you that the Holdman Back Bank would be an ideal first goal. It would provide a huge amount of income and a foothold in the business world of Varna, which is the city that you're in. You began scouting the bank without first agreeing to the full deal yet. You gathered some preliminary info on it, and then you returned to Six and agreed to the full deal, although for a lower cut than Six had initially been looking for. You gained some information about the people of interest involved in the bank, as well as the layout of the security systems, but you didn't actually get any actual passcodes or bypasses or anything like that. You just know where the cameras are and the keypads are and stuff like that. And that's basically where we left off, was you getting all that information from Six, which Milton did put all into the clues section of Discord in case you forgot about any of them.
That's right.
And that's basically where we'll pick up. We'll pick up in the room with Six after you just got that big old information dump, and you'll be able to move on from there. But first, we will take a little trip on the narrative camera. The camera opens on a woman approaching a park bench. The streets around her are largely empty. One or two people shuffle about on the streets in the distance, but they seem uninterested in her. She pushes her long black hair behind her shoulders and then sits down on the dark green bench. She casually looks back and forth and buttons the top button on her long gray trench coat and settles into a comfortable position. Then she reaches behind the bench and pulls out a length of chain and leather. She ties the chain and leather around her ankles, then loops it around her legs and through the slats in the bench so that she cannot move her legs. She then very casually grabs an iron cuff that is already chained to the bench and clasps it around her left wrist, pulling twice to ensure it is snugly fit on her wrist and firmly attached to the bench. She does the same with her right arm, as the chains holding her arms allow for full range of movement while she sits, but would not permit her to run more than a foot or two away from the bench itself. And she pulls a leather restraining cap from her purse and attaches it to her head, fitting a jaw strap so tightly that her mouth is forced closed. She then sits there, entirely bound by chains, staring straight forwards. Calmly, but intently, she stares forwards. Her fists clench in anticipation as she stares forwards, eyes scanning back and forth. Then her pupils dilate. Sweat beads on her forehead. Her focus becomes all-consuming. Her eyes find something and refuse to let it go. Her eyes slowly track back and forth, clearly following the movement of something. Then the pupils constrict so much that her eyes seem to be entirely comprised of the dark hazel brown iris. Her body slackens for a moment, then every muscle tightens. Her arms pull hard on the chains, her legs squirm back and forth, and her head tries to turn side to side, but the restraints prevent her from moving. She fights with absolute terror in her eyes, no longer focused on anything, just awash with absolute fear and the desire to leave. But she can't. And she doesn't. And just as that realization hits her, the camera cuts to black.
What the fuck?
And we're back.
What the fuck? What?
So who was that? Who was that character?
That was
Who
super upsetting. What the fuck? Oh,
What
sounds
did she
like-
see?
Oh
What
my
was she looking
God.
at? Yeah.
And
Oh my God.
yeah. So you guys are in the room with Six, who has their aviator glasses back on. And they had just told you all that information about the Holdman Back Bank. Everybody get the reference to Holdman Back?
Is it because they hold men back?
And
Is it Goldman Sachs?
Yeah, that's the two. It's Goldman
Dudes.
Sachs, and they hold men back.
Got it. Okay.
But not women. No,
Just
I'm just
Nope. They
yeah, no,
flourish.
just men. But yeah, just
kidding. JK.
yeah, just
You already
making
know
sure.
how I feel about your naming convention.
I know. It's so good. It's so clever. Yeah, okay, so you guys are sitting in the room with Six, and you just got all that information.
Okay, and that was the information being the stuff that I wrote down.
Yep, exactly. Yep. You know that, the person that is the bank teller that is the weakest
Emmy.
link is Emmy. You know that the Ascended, who kind of owns and runs the bank, is Jumbo Jumbo. And you have the layout of everything. And you know about how Emmy would respond if they saw a human.
Yep.
And you don't know how he would respond if he saw an Ascended.
Right. Yeah. We know that we're the same rank as
That's
oh,
Jimbo
that's
Jumbo.
Jimbo. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jimbo.
yeah.
Right.
So, question for the party.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, we could go in there. Remind me again why we are robbing the bank.
Because we need to. We're robbing the bank because there's essentially somebody who's in charge of the bank that can be removed.
Okay.
We essentially asked the guy if Volos had any enemies.
Oh,
or
that's
anybody
right.
that he would like to be disposed of, and at
Okay.
the same time, if there's also any of those that are correlated with like positions we could take over and gain some power ourselves.
Sure.
And this guy is the one that overlaps.
Jimbo Jumbo.
The boy,
The guy
do
that
we
we're
name
talking
him?
to?
You know how I am with names.
The guy that we're talking to, or the leader of the bank?
The leader of the bank.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Jimbo Jumbo.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then what I was thinking is, I think, well,
Oh, sorry. One other thing is we can't be documented doing the heist because we want to swoop in and solve it so that we can then kind of undermine this person. Yeah.
yes, that makes sense. Because, sorry, wait. Oh, so we can't be seen to be involved. So are we thinking of getting people to do it for us?
Yes.
Yeah, hiring.
Aha.
We're either
okay.
going to hire somebody to do it for us, or I think I suggested to you last time, like you can disguise yourself as the guy that hired us to do this, so we can have some leverage on him should things go south.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But he also vehemently said that even if we did try to do that he has enough. His dick is big enough to swing to counter it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And
He's
just
holding an action for dick swinging.
and yeah, so Volos, when you talk to him, you'd said, hey, do you have any people who are, undermining you, kind of like Grom was?
Yeah.
And he said, there's always people like that. And you said, can you point us in the direction, or can you tell us who and we'll go kill them? And he said
Sure.
that would be like, that would prove nothing of your worth. So you should find the people. And
Sure.
he said to investigate the financial district. So then you talked to Six. And when you mentioned people who would be rising up against Volos, he actually kind of avoided those questions a little bit. And instead,
I know that's
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and instead told you guys about establishing a foothold first. And he told you about the bank.
And that's so that's why I'm a little bit worried that we're just kind of doing what this fucking Six guy
Yeah,
wants.
exactly.
Not necessarily anything that's going to work for Volos, but what if we're being used by someone? Like, what if we are literally just pawns to this guy?
Right, exactly. He's trying to find a way up, and he's essentially doing what we're doing. Like,
We're the hired. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're the hired people, so it doesn't trace back to him. So, I mean, we could just go to the financial district and investigate ourselves, but I have the same fears as Milton.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's a tricky
then
one.
that is a good point. Maybe we can go to the financial district in general and do a kind of looking around day where we are both looking to see if there's someone who would be appropriate to hire to do the heist, and also if there's a better target for us. Maybe we just do a reconnaissance day.
Sorry, run that by me one more time.
So rather than just jumping in and doing the heist,
Right.
we could spend another day in the financial district in general, where we both look for a team who could do the heist on our behalf, as well as if there's a better target for us to be taking down on behalf of Volos.
Well, what if we? This is a little bit. This is a little bit more on the extreme end. What if we did something like that fucking? What was that show that was on Netflix? That 4-part miniseries about the dude who had the bomb strapped around his neck and was told to go rob a bank, and then, they
shit.
fucking and then they detonated it.
Yeah,
That's
God.
it. Isn't that a true story?
No, it's a real thing. You see the
Yeah.
real footage in
Yeah.
the documentary. It's crazy.
Yeah, we did not watch that.
Yeah, it's insane, man. Anyways, the point here being, why don't we do something like that to Six? What if we send him in? Because
Oh, no.
that way, if he's trying to fuck with us, we fuck with him, and if he's not, whoops. I don't really have an answer for
That's
what
true.
happens if he's being genuine. I just whoops, oops. Well, but I mean, yeah. So what do we do now that
I
we?
guess the question is how do we decipher whether or not if he's being genuine?
Yeah, that's the big
Yeah.
one. That's the big one.
Hey, is there anything? Does anyone have any abilities for? Oh, I could eat some memories, but you're the investigator. Do you have any investigation abilities?
Boy, yes, but I don't know how much. Listen, yes, I'm trying not to use all of my
No.
abilities very regularly because they're pretty fucking game breaking.
Dude, I
Break it.
honestly want the
Yeah.
game to grow around that. Like,
Nice.
if you can crack open my mysteries with your abilities, then you're gonna progress through some content quite quickly as I learn to work around those. And other ways, if you hit me with a really hard ability, I will abide by the ability. But if it's something you can just keep doing, I might start limiting just how
Right, and that's
really,
what I mean.
yeah.
Like a large portion of my abilities are okay. You tell me everything now. Like that's a lot. And I'm like, I don't really want to use all that. I think I'm okay with like using the ones that at least point us in the right direction.
I mean, the thing is, like, the one is like, you tell me what you want to know, right?
Yeah.
And what I will say is, okay, tell me what you want to know, and then I will answer that question specifically.
Okay.
So
cool,
I like,
cool.
we can work with it. We could, if it's a super overpowered ability, like, you just go ahead and use it. And a couple things to note. First of all, we're gonna get real specific on the numbers or like the details. And second of all, as was alluded to previously, and Tiger is aware of this now too, as a thought eater or mind eater. What is it?
Knowledge eater.
Knowledge
yeah.
eater. As a knowledge eater, that information, and Volos has said this too, information can be dangerous. So sometimes you might want to not know something, for the possession of that knowledge can be dangerous.
Yeah.
So go ahead, use your super strong abilities. Know that if you know something that you shouldn't know, that could be bad. And second of all, we're going to get real specific about what you're asking about, because you can't just say, okay, tell me what the campaign is, because the characters have no idea they're in a campaign.
Gotcha.
So they gotta ask specifically what they're thinking of, kind of thing. So please, by all means, if you guys have abilities to make your life easier, I have made this difficult. So use your things to make it easier.
Let's go, Ven. Crack it open, buddy.
Okay. So to kind of make this a little bit more appropriate, one of my skills is essentially I know a guy. That's one of my big skills. It's pretty much, if I don't know the answer to something, I know who knows the answer, or I know how to acquire said thing because I know a guy.
Yeah.
However, being that my guy is like absolutely brand new to this arc and sort of stuff,
Yeah.
I think my first course of action would be like, hey, let's go out on the town, let's go to the bars, let's go to meet some people, let's see how the city functions as a whole.
Yep.
And then in doing that, maybe I could say like, oh hey, I listened, I talked to a bunch of people, and then now I can actually say I know a guy, because right now I'm just kind of like shooting it out my ass.
I mean, luckily you just met someone who prides themselves on being the single biggest information holder in the city, so you probably know the guy.
Well, okay, so the question that I would want to ask next is, how do I find out any information on 6 to find out whether or not he's genuine or not? Because he says, oh, I've helped out pretty much anyone who's ever exited that building. How do I check his references? That would be my question.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's like, I need to get information on the guy that knows everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's probably an excellent line of questioning.
So that would be my go-to at the moment, is I want to find out where that is, which is why I would want to spend like a night on the town and see if we can find out who these other Senate are that he supposedly helped, or see if he's used robbers in the past or anything like that, or find out if there's a grudge between 6 and this guy and we're trying to fill a
That's a
personal
great
grudge.
idea.
Yeah.
That's a fun. Okay, yeah. Where do you think we should go? Like a place where like corporate types go to drink their sorrows away?
Yeah.
What do you
like
think?
a super fancy lounge type thing.
Yeah, exactly, Lastiel, exactly. Because I do have many bougie abilities as the charlatan. I'm basically designed to bamboozle corporate shills, and
You two would be
the both of
quite
us,
the fucking
exactly.
synergy in a place like that.
Yeah, but this could literally be our calling, this like Ocean's 11 type moment.
Oh,
Our
yeah.
ability to work in tandem to just truly bamboozle and extract information from people totally unsuspecting, or fuck it up in such spectacular fashion that we risk a TPK. One of the two.
Either way sounds good to me. Let's do it.
Yeah, I like it. Back in the financial district, some bar over there, some club.
I think that would make sense, because I bet people are probably the type where as soon as the clock strikes
Yeah.
9 p.m. or whenever they're allowed to leave work, they probably want to head somewhere and get a drink right away. And I bet there's some shitty overpriced lounge with $19 martinis, pretty centralized in the financial district. What does that look like, Tech?
I mean, so okay, you guys did take a bus around the financial district, so you
Sure.
probably got a little bit of a look at the places that exist there. You saw quite a number of really shitty, crummy bars, broken glass windows, doors off their hinges, really, really rough looking bodyguards kind of bouncing people from the front doors. You saw broken glass. You saw all manner of refuse on the street kind of thing. Like, you've seen the rough places.
Sure.
Why doesn't everyone roll plus intelligence to see if they can recall having seen a place that might be a little bit more, high end?
I think that a place we would want. What's intelligence here? A place we would want is not seeable from the street, kind of thing.
Like in
Exactly. That's why I'm asking for the roll. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta
Oh,
walk through
not a
somebody's
great
kitchen or
start.
something.
This is why
Not a
my
great
character's
start.
broken. Tacto, you remember my guy remembers absolutely everything with uncanny precision.
Oh,
I don't need to roll for memory rolls.
Oh,
I
that's
guess
right.
that's a good point. Okay. No, these are the good things. These are the good things because surprise, surprise, your whole team just rolled like dog shit.
Yep.
And
You know what? I'll roll just so I can so I can feel included. Okay.
Yeah.
Just for flavor. Yeah.
Just for flavor.
Flavor.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I seem to
God.
remember.
That
No, wait, I
kinda
forgot. Oh wait, never mind. I can't forget. I'm a genius. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Wow, dude, those are some bad rolls,
Wow,
guys.
this is not great.
Yeah,
We're getting them all out of the way now.
We're getting them
Yeah.
all out
No, this is
early.
why it's so
Yeah.
good to use these abilities, right? Because you'd be spinning your wheels for a bit, having a tough time finding these places.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so all you guys can remember, Tiger, Rippy, and Sebastian. All you guys can remember are all the shitty ones. You did not see a single place that you think an Ascended or a CEO or anyone like that would ever step foot into. But Bishop, with your kind of identic filing cabinet of a memory, you absolutely remember as you were driving along, you were just keeping your eyes open, letting everything wash over you. You do remember seeing a couple of like lit up windows in hotels that very much appeared like they were not for staying in. They were not for people to stay in, and you suspect that they were some sort of activities, whether they were
Poker hall
exactly,
or something.
poker or
Gotcha,
jazz
okay.
lounge or something like that. They seemed like they were reserved and decorated in such a way that it was a place for people to gather. But they were kind of in the middle floors of large hotel buildings that had pretty strict security and entry lists kind of thing to get into. So you can identify a couple of these places. Why don't I go ahead and look up a name of one of them? Fantasy name generator. Let's see. So one thing that you really remember was a one place that really stuck out because it was just so over the top.
Iconically
named Sparkle.
That does sound very fancy.
That does sound. It does sound like the rich, smarmy kind of,
I would like to think that that's what the name of the building was, and then I remember it was named something else.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you think it was called Sparkle?
Sparkle.
You think it was called Sparkle? You remember and then you remember that was actually the gift shop name that was on the exit of the place, and the place you actually were remembering was called Luminos.
Ooh, yeah, that's the ticket.
that sounds
I do a
familiar
slow
now.
clap staring directly at the GM.
So you remember a very fancy place called Luminos.
I'm 100% stopping by Sparkle though.
Maybe we can get one of those novelty, really large lollipops. We need those, I think.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
would have that for sure.
So I think we should do something that, this is up to Tech's discretion, obviously. I think we should do something to prepare ourselves to fit in Ocean's 11 style and roll to see how convincingly we can assemble an outfit.
Outfit montage?
Yeah,
All right.
how likely are we to fit in versus how much are people gonna be like, what the fuck are they wearing?
Yeah, okay. I think so this is absolutely necessary. So you guys are still technically in the room with Six.
Yeah,
As you're kind of thinking about this and talking about this in hushed tones. I'll say Six is not really onto you guys yet, but you'll probably want to move out of the building when you start talking about specifics of what you're doing, especially because you're investigating Six. So you're like, so this guy's obviously full of shit. Let's go talk to people who might know him, kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
So you remember that Luminos definitely catered to the successful. Being ascended makes you successful, but does not guarantee you entrance into a place like this. There's a lot of middle management or CEOs of smaller companies who would never make it into Luminos. So you're gonna have to put together quite an outfit.
Maybe we need to be from another town. That's why they haven't heard of us. But anyway, outfit first. Sorry.
So what would you guys like to do?
So I think I would like to basically leave where we are now, head into the financial district, and go into like the rich, fancy, like tailor part of town.
Yep.
And find a place to get a very flashy suit, very obviously only intended to be used in pretty special occasions, because Rippy has a suit that he normally wears anyways. So something akin to what the Dumb and Dumber are wearing when they go to the party, the blue and the orange. Something exceptionally like vivid and really dramatic.
Yeah.
And very occasion made.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to look like I'm from the fucking Hunger Games. Let's go.
Yeah, like all feathers and shit.
You want to be all ripped to shreds and covered in mud?
Yeah,
There it is. That's what I was going to say.
No, not that. No, not that. It was on TV. The good guys.
Oh wait, the good guys.
Wait, hold on.
You know, the good guys who dramatically lose at the end.
Some twist of unfair fate. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
okay.
where I'd like to go.
Okay, so you guys leave Six's house, and once again on your way out, you kind of hear that kind of banging sound in the living room, and you hear a voice kind of exclaim and shout some words, and then the banging stops, and you guys leave the house and start heading towards the financial district. And at this point, it is now late at night.
Can I ask? Sorry, before we get too
yeah.
far into it, did the voice? We couldn't hear what the voice said.
Yep.
Is there any kind of distinguishing accent or anything like that? Any
Man or woman, or obviously
Sure,
presenting either way.
Yeah. Let's see. Tiger, go ahead and roll plus wisdom. See if you can kind of perceive any details about the voice.
Oh, that's
Okay.
better.
A 10. That's a full success. It sounded quite masculine. It sounded quite forceful. The words you were not able to gather, but it sounded like the person was probably on the older side.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Probably, over the hump, on the downward slope.
Okay.
Yeah.
As soon as we're out of the earshot kind of thing, out of the house, I
Yep.
would tell that to the party.
Okay.
Did you notice that, that?
Yeah. Okay. And you guys then make your way to the financial district, and it is late at night now. It is just full dark, pitch black out, probably 11 p.m., maybe close to midnight kind of thing.
Were you saying that should we get a room at that hotel maybe then? Or we want to get clothes right now?
With what money?
I was worried about money. That's true.
Yeah, that's true. I was wondering about the same thing.
Well, because we're ascended, I imagine there'd be like, don't worry about it, like a credit thing or like a loan thing. I don't know, but like a tab essentially. I don't know if there's something like that. I guess we could figure it out.
Mm.
Yeah. Good
Okay,
question.
so I have a quick question for the DM. When it comes to ascended and normal humans, is there any sort of status quo? We're not supposed to touch ascended, but what about humans? Are they just straight cattle, or do we have to respect the fucking the lobies?
They're basically cattle.
They're basically cattle. So I can be like, give me your fucking money, and I would not get in trouble for that.
I mean, you might get in trouble if that person works at another Ascended's company, and you damage them in such a way that they fail to do their job. They'll probably be killed for failing to do their job well, but not before giving up your looks, kind of thing. So,
Gotcha.
You run a little bit of a risk of angering another Ascended if you inadvertently fuck over another ascended, but people are basically just cattle, and if anything, it is looked poorly upon to harass them unduly, because it's kind of like it's below you a little bit.
Gotcha. Okay.
But not actually any trouble. Like you would not actually get in any trouble for just finding someone and be like, give me your money, and they give you their money. Like that's you have not actually broken any laws or any rules by doing that.
Okay. Next question.
Yeah.
Do pawn shops exist here?
Yeah, sure. I mean, hey, it's the Red Ink, man. There's probably some super unethical pawn shops around here.
All right. In that case, all we got to do is find something to hawk. You know what I mean?
Well, that's exactly what I'm good at. I'm good at selling useless items.
Oh, perfect. Maybe that's the way to go.
And so the idea with that is what, to bamboozle a person with snake oil, basically,
I think
to get some money to afford entrance into the club.
And
to get the clothes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a great idea. Well, let's see, because my ability, con artist, whenever you attempt to sell a useless item, roll plus charisma. If you roll a 10 plus, you're successful and you gain +1 forward to the next move taken to deceive the same target. On a 7 to 9, you're still successful, but the GM will tell you that one of the following has happened, and then Tech gets to pick between your lie leads to another, which requires a new roll, suspicion, or unwanted attention. So we can find something that we can try to hawk, and then we can do the paperclip thing where we start with something, try to sell it for something bigger, take that and try to sell that for something bigger, take that and try to sell that for enough money to pay for everything if we want.
Yeah, I like it. Maybe find something on do some dumpster dive in and see if we can find like a piece of furniture or a lamp or something, a vase that maybe we could pretend is a antique or something like that.
I bet you there's some of these places that just dump all their excess stuff that they don't want to justify giving away, so they would rather throw it in the garbage but are still in perfect condition. That sounds like something they would do in the Red Ink,
Definitely, yeah.
I do love that you guys are basically monster demigods, and your first thing is going to be to go dumpster diving.
I was going to say, I mean, I guess we could. We are ascended. We could probably just walk down the street and look at people and be like, give me money. Give me your money right now. And they would probably, true. I imagine they probably would. I can't imagine they would.
What Tech said is like, we might get in, if we offend the wrong subordinate,
sure,
we could get in trouble.
Yeah. Tough one, man. Tough one.